Oh, this should take just a second. I think there's like a 10-second delay on this. So,
I might even see if I can't pull it up on the phone here. Oh,
there we go.
Skitter Kev, right. Saturday Night Live, Firewood.
Oh, yeah, there we are. Now it's coming through. Perfect.
Oh, there I am. There's going to be an echo there.
All right. Now I got my own echo here. There we go. All right. We're all good. All right. Hey, guys. How is everyone doing tonight? We got another. We're going to do our, we talked about it. We're going to do our live streams. Try every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, whatever kind of works out for both of us. But we kind of agreed on every 2 weeks. Firewood night in Canada. I love it. That's awesome.
Well, I guess if there's no hockey night in Canada, we might as well do this, eh?
I'm going to use that one on the next one. I'm going to steal that. That's awesome.
That'll be a good one.
Good evening, Mark. How you doing? Hope you guys are all enjoying your Saturday. What was the weather like there for you today? Did you get any rain?
Like down my way? No.
No, you didn't get anything, eh?
No, it actually turned out being a beautiful day today. It was a gorgeous day. Like considering there was snow on the ground this morning, this afternoon was warm. It was really good. I got out. I split some. What I tried out that I had that 37D, that one that cycled really really fast. I had it. I put a box wedge on today and got a video of it with the box wedge on, and it's just it works really good. I had some really nice red oak, just like perfect stuff to run through it too. And I need to get some of my own wood done. So that's what I was at today.
Yeah. I'm going to get into that 37D, but I am going to wait right now because I know everyone wants to talk about this after your last couple videos with it.
Oh yeah, no, it's pretty cool. It's kind of what happens when you put processor parts on a wood splitter.
That thing was crazy. Before this live stream even started, I don't know if you saw, there's already 2 comments on that 37D. So we'll get to that. I'm going to wait till more people get here, so there's not repetitive stuff on it.
It was really funny because like when I did the video, like you can see like when I was done loading it or done running some wood through it, like I ran probably a base cord through it as fast as I could. I was pretty well winded by the end of it.
Yeah, like I left a comment. You almost need 3 guys just to load it steady.
Oh, you would, yeah. It would be the full 3 people. Like you might have one guy keep up with it for like 3 or 4 minutes, so 2 guys might keep up with it for 10, but you almost need 3 guys to actually run it to its potential. It works really well.
Yeah, like that's what else? Oh, the big question's already coming in. Anyway, Toronto got rain around 6 o'clock. That's what we got, a touch of rain here. Not enough to make things wet, but we did get some rain.
Also, I said I just looking out the window. There's no. Well, no, you know what? It had to have rained. I'm not gonna lie to you. I had a bit of a nap there.
I was gonna say, were you napping?
I was. I had a nap for 20 minutes or half an hour. So maybe it rained then. It might still rain. I'm not quite sure, but.
No, Northeast Ohio. I guess it's raining there too. Oh, we'll get right into that. I cooked this question, but we'll go with it. Discontinuation of the Trommel.
Yeah.
So that is going forward. I guess that's what it sounded like the last time we talked about it.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna run the disc tumbler. Like after running the screeners, the disc screeners, and talking to all the guys that have run them, they seem to have had better luck with the disc screeners, and we have a few other things that we're going to do on them to kind of refine them and keep doing a better job on them. But I think that's the way of the future, anyways. I was surprised how, like, when I first saw them, I really didn't think much of them. The first time I seen a disc screener, I was like, well, there's no way that's going to work. Like, I was pretty skeptical of it, but after seeing them run and working with them, they work really, really well.
Yeah, like I was the same way. As soon as I saw them, I was I was a little bit leery about them and seeing how, but now there's, they've been out there for a bit, and there's some guys putting a lot of wood through them, and they still seem to say that's the way to go. And you got to take their word for it, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. Like there's only so much experience that like we can get as a manufacturing company. It's a feedback from the customers that really makes the big difference with it. And talking to guys that do big volumes of wood and have done a bit of both, right? Because I thought there was no way one of those things would ever work, let alone hold together. So it was after years of running the guys running them and having good luck with them, it's that seems to be the way to go. So,
well, yeah, that's what I thought. I figured you'd be busting those discs off.
Yeah.
And apparently,
I thought the same thing, and I thought they would jam and pinch, and like you might get the odd piece, but it's not detrimental to production at all. Like I would have thought that it would be a terrible outfit to run. I honestly, but like I said, after running them, that's the way to go.
Yeah. I don't know if Gage is on here. I never got a chance to ask him the weight question on it. So if he gets on here, I'll have to ask him about that, because of what you said was right. I really like that, because we can move it around with our case, and we don't need the Kubotas in the yard, like moving the tumbler. That's where the advantage for us.
Oh yeah.
Like,
and are you able to move the tumbler with the case? Like, or like with the Kubota? Are you able to move it with the Kubota?
Yeah, need the Kubota, and it's all the Kubota has to.
It would be all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I would believe that. Yeah.
So that's another advantage, I think, especially for us. We don't need to make sure we have the Kubota in the yard. If we move, we jump around in the yard a lot, 12-inch, 16-inch, loading into the trucks, filling up the cover roll for a bagged wood. So we're always kind of moving in our yard.
Yeah, and there's some guys that are set up like that have the big equipment, have the big wheel loaders and stuff like that can move that around. But like you said, if a guy's loading with like a tractor, like a utility tractor or a skid steer, you're having a hard time moving that big tumbler.
Yeah, it is. And we've used the case and a Kubota loader tractor, and it's just a pain doing it that way.
Oh, it would. Yeah, it would be. Yeah. We loaded up the steel rack there 2 or 3 weekends ago. Me and another lad, and the steel rack at Bell's, there was like the old one that the steel slid into. It was just really hard to work with, and we loaded onto the trailer. It was all the 2 forklifts could do to get it on the trailer. I couldn't believe it.
Wow.
It was, and we have big forklifts too. I couldn't believe the thing was that heavy.
Yeah, I can imagine you guys would have some big ones there. Moving steel around, you need something decent size.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah.
What do we got? Charles from Dirty South Logging. How's it going, fellas? We're doing pretty good, and I think you're doing all right, because I saw down here, you got some steak and shrimp. Surfing
right on. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I know. Sounds better than my supper, that's for sure. Jim Richards, seems like a tumbler would knock more dirt and bark off.
I would have thought that too. Like, honestly, I would have thought the same thing. It's just that's just not the case. And most time, like, if you're going to be dumping the wood into it, the bark is already loose enough on the wood. Like if you have like a piece of oak or whatever, the bark's normally loose enough that it's going to fall off anyways. So, is that was one thing that I initially thought too, is that just the tumbler coming around it would do it, but it doesn't seem to make a huge difference in it.
See, and we cut a ton of ash, and you get stuff where the bark is the borers in it so bad, the bugs in it so bad, the bark just peels off in sheets.
Yeah.
And that's where, it takes it out pretty good in the tumbler, but even the tumbler doesn't get it all out. it goes into the pile and banged around in there, and we still get, unless you're loading directly from the pile, we tumble before it goes into the pile just to, we go by, if you get the dirt out of the wood before it's in the big piles and your cones, it doesn't hold any moisture if it gets in there, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, and I think that's the way to do it is to do it both sides of it. And that's the other nice thing about the disc screener too is you don't need to have like for you guys to load into your tumbler then load it into the trailer is a lot extra work. Where if you have the disc screener, it's already open at the top of it, right?
Yeah, and
so if you want to clean it before it goes into your trailer, even then you're able to do that without having anything extra.
Yeah, and it's a pain. Our case can't load into even our Kubotas can't load into the tumbler unless you make a ramp. It sits so high, right? And that's an advantage. Yeah. Another advantage of that disc cleaner, right? You can dump skid steer height, really.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And like when we kind of took I've obviously been looking at them for a long time, but when we decided to do it, that was kind of we looked at all those factors in terms of how useful each one is and the scenarios of what a guy would be actually using it in his wood yard, and that's kind of what we found anyways. So
yeah, and I don't know, like I said, I still like to see it. I do think there are more advantages and disadvantages, that's for sure. Even that, I haven't even seen it run or have to actually be around one to watch it run, but I think we'll do real well. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, and that's exactly like with anything, you're gonna have pros and cons with it. There's gonna be some things you're gonna like about one thing and dislike sort of thing. It's just a natural thing with anything.
Yeah. Charles, he also wants to know, how small of a wood splitter do you make?
We make the smallest one we make is what we call an ultra, and it's a 14-ton splitter, and it cycles in about 4 seconds. So it's incredibly fast. There's a handful of guys that are running them on YouTube right now. Gord from GP Outdoors has one right now. Chris at Over in the Woodyard has one. Joe Barney has one. I had Joe's Firewood videos. So there's a handful of different guys that are running them on YouTube right now. Old School Millennials, another good guy. Glenn's a good guy to watch too.
Yeah. And they seem like a good. I was watching. How come I can't think of his name? He's got an ultra anyway, and I was watching his video. That thing still works really good for a smaller machine, and really, it's not that small.
No, like they're really fast, and you can put some dirty stuff in them, and it just goes like it just has with the way the whole thing's designed that it actually is able to do that and perform that fast. Like if you're into stuff that's 10 inches around or whatever, it's just as fast as 1222. Like it's not a big difference if you're just doing a 4-way split.
Yeah. Oh, FTR working on his 100-cord pile.
Right on.
That'll be a decent sized pile when you're done.
Yeah, that will be.
All right. Why are most processors that do smaller diameter logs prefer a chainsaw bar over circular saw blade? Cost?
The cost would be the big one. By the time that you put a circular saw in a machine, there's a lot of extra going on there. A lot of extra stuff happening there, and a lot of extra machine parts that need to be correct and right. And that's why you see that a chainsaw is actually fairly simple to put on a processor, put on a hydraulic chainsaw. The big secret to it is making sure you have the chain speed the same as any other chainsaw, which obviously requires horsepower. In my experience with the lower horsepower processors, they don't tend to perform obviously quite as well as the big ones, but that is a trick to the bar saws is putting horsepower to them.
Yeah, and you'll be able to keep costs down as well on the processor once you get away from a circular saw as well, right?
Oh, that's exactly, yeah.
And it will probably lead into my next question here for rental units. You're probably better off Oh, let me right here. We have a 22 MB on order. Do you feel it will be okay as a rental machine to offset some of the costs? We cannot wait. Sold our brute force in one day and ordered a new Easton made and disc cleaner.
I'm really hoping it will be, Brian. Like I'm hoping that we have this built well enough that you should be able to do that and be comfortable having people run it. Um, like the whole machine, everything should be built strong enough that it should be really hard to have anything go wrong. It's essentially going to be built the same as what our splitters are now, that are just durable. You can't. There's not a whole lot you can hurt on them. And I'm hoping that I can do the same thing with processors here. So,
and it's to take the other side. You look at rentals. A buddy of ours rents a processor out, and how do most people treat rentals? It's not theirs. They don't care, right? So anything can happen.
yeah,
That's
exactly it. And that's going to be the other end of it too. Is you're going to have to expect a little bit of damage, but we're hoping that whatever it's going to be is going to be minimal and easily repaired.
And most likely be operator damage and not a failure from manufacturing failure.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And if like Brian's had a brute force before too, so he would know the ins and outs of processors anyways, and kind of what to look for and what to expect. And that's the one thing I find a lot with processors. Whenever people have a poor experience with them, it's normally because they haven't ever had experience with one. It's not like having an excavator or a bulldozer or something where you can literally hire a guy off the street that can run it and be professional at it, right? It's a little more specialized now, more like a sawmill where you can saw boards all day, but you might not be making lumber, right? So
yeah, exactly. So to that, they basically rent it. Hammer weight, and they're built heavy. Like we got a 4,000. 22 would be a 2,000 right now.
Yeah, it'll be a 2,000. But the nice thing that we're doing with them too is we're going to run that 74 horse Kubota on all of them. So the nice thing about that is like I said, like with those bar saws, once you put the horsepower in, they really cut. And even like you'll see a lot of the manufacturers are running like the 50 and 67 horse 2.2 cats. When you go that next size up into that 74, it doesn't cost a whole lot more money on our end of it to buy it. But like the torque going from that 67 up to the 74 is insane. It's like 110, 120 foot-pounds of torque more, which is really, really important to making sure that thing cuts well. So,
yeah. Josh Eller, and if you don't know who Josh Eller is, he is the owner of Ryan's Equipment. They make log grapples. The felling heads for the excavators and stuff. So he's the owner of them. So he wants to know if they're going to let us out of Canada to go to the Richmond show.
I know I'm not going to make it. I'd love to make it, but we spoke about it last time. It's kind of everything's still up in the air right now. Like we come back into Canada, we have to quarantine in a government hotel for a set amount of time and then 2 weeks. So we're just going to lay it low. I don't know how many shows we'll be doing this year, if any at all. Boonville was actually canceled, which was kind of disappointing. That was a nice one for us because it was literally in the backyard. But I don't even know if we're going to be attending the shows this year. Hopefully the Paul Bunyan show. And there's a couple other projects and things that we've been talking about doing with other channels and such and other people that we may end up going that way and having the marketing more targeted than what a trade show would typically be.
Yeah, and it's like for us, I don't know if the border will even be open, so that's where you lose that government hotel at like $3,000 or $1,000 a day or whatever.
It's insane. It's insane.
Yeah. So that is still all up in the air. Richmond, I think, is May. I want to say May 2 for, is it not? Did they not move it up? Josh,
it might be May. It might be May 2 for. I don't know if it's that weekend or the weekend before that.
Yeah,
I can't
I'm
remember.
positive they changed because they rebooked it. I'm positive, but
Yeah, and they the people at the Richmond show have been really good. Like I think a lot of the Canadian manufacturers are kind of in the same boat as us, where they might hold off on it. Because I know when I talked to the folks at Richmond, I told them, and they said, "Oh, that's fine," and we'll just save your deposit for next year, sort of thing.
yeah, it's May 2/4, so yeah, that's gonna be is a long weekend, but that's gonna be no for us as well. That's my
Yeah,
gardening weekend.
that's exactly it.
Um,
Exactly it.
Shane, he asked same thing, coming to Bangor, Maine. I would actually love to go to that show, and I looked into it last 2019, whether we could go or not, or the drive, what it would be like, and I'd love to go to it, but
I don't.
again,
I don't even know if you'll see us do Bangor again. Like it's a really like Bangor is a beautiful area, and the drive is amazing. I think it's Route 2 that cuts across from Vermont across New Hampshire and into Maine. It's a really nice drive, but we haven't ever had very great success at Bangor. It's not quite as busy as like the Paul Bunyan show or Boonville or some of those other shows. Even when they do the Loggers Expo in Essex Junction, Vermont, Essex Junction is typically a busier show, and I think it's just the amount of people. And that kind of goes back to that targeted marketing thing too, right? Where you may have 15, 20,000 people go through a trade show in a weekend, but if there's only 100 of them that are there looking at firewood equipment, then you're really only paying for the 100, right?
yeah, for sure. I hear you. It's you want to be in the firewood markets, right?
That's exactly it. Where like stuff like this, or doing we're working with other creators on YouTube and stuff like that. It seems to be as beneficial as anything, and I think that's where I may be investing the money in the future rather than trade shows directly.
Yeah, and I see a lot of companies doing that now. That's where they're going with. They want these YouTubers to go and they're advertising their products, whether especially in farming channels.
Oh yeah, 100%. Because again, it's like if somebody's watching a video on a wood splitter or a firewood process, then obviously that they're interested in that, right?
Yeah,
And if you can drive traffic to those channels, then it typically seems to be the way to do it, in my experience, anyways. From what I've gathered and learned, so.
yeah, I think it's the way to go, and I see some companies not even want to budge on stuff, and then others are like, "Yeah, this is what we want. We see it, we hear it, we get phone calls. We hear that
Yeah,
we're getting from you."
you've really got to keep an open mind with everything now. Like everything changes so fast now too.
Yeah,
Like if this were 5 years ago, you wouldn't even I wouldn't even consider it. I would have thought you were crazy. But now that we're like, you know what I mean? Like stuff evolves so fast. You have to with this stuff. You have to kind of be on the next trend or ahead of it.
yeah,
Is what I found with it. You can't and you can't quit changing it. You have to make sure that you're diverse and are able to react.
yeah, for sure. Charles, a lot of the jobs we do, we have to leave piles of chunks of hardwoods from 2 foot to 10 foot long and from 10 inches to 35 inches circumference or diameter. He corrected himself there. Do you have
No
anything that would
worries.
be good to use for making firewood out of it?
Pretty well, any processor is going to work okay with that. The big issue you run into with a processor would be the length. Like you want to make sure you run longer lengths. Like if you're doing mostly chunks in a splitter, maybe better off for you, especially if you're doing large diameter stuff like that. Like a splitter with a box wedge on it, or even our axis with the vertical machine that. Either one of those would probably suit you just as well as what a processor would.
Yeah, and he's got buck saws on the landing. He should just buck it all. He needs to put like a
Oh,
16-inch mark on it and buck it up.
that's the way to do it. Honestly, if you're set up like that, that's probably just as quick and as easy to do it.
Yeah.
I actually made a conveyor for a local guy that had a harvester head. I built a great big hopper on, and his harvester head, he just blocks the wood into the conveyor.
Yeah. Oh,
And he says that works just as good for him as anything.
Yeah. And I almost forgot. I skipped over this. Buddy John. Hey, Kevin, Andrew.
How's it going, John?
Yeah, how you doing? Yeah, I guess you would have got that snow you guys got. Oh, yeah. Here's his answer. The ground was white here this morning.
Yeah.
I've had enough of the white stuff, but again, I've seen it snow.
Yeah, I'm done with it. Not much of a cold guy. I'm a fair weather wood splitter guy.
Yeah. I'm with it. We talked earlier, and it's like it's the wind. I get tired of the wind.
Yeah, no, it's no good at all. It just cuts right through you, especially if it's damp like it's been. It just isn't nice.
Justin Fink, how hard is it to ship stuff over the border these days?
No issues at all. We haven't run into really any hiccups with that at all. With the COVID, it's been pretty smooth sailing. All the paperwork's pretty standard and normal. Even when they got rid of NAFTA, can't remember what they're calling it now, but it's essentially it's the same form, just has a different name on the top of it, and it's pretty seamless for us.
Yeah, so there's no, like, you're not sending any extra paperwork or guys getting held up at the border.
No,
you're sending everything over on trucks now, right?
Yeah, we are. Yeah. Like we have one guy that's in Drew's north of Kingston, and he has a Peterbilt and a flatbed. He comes and picks up 10, 12 splitters a week and runs them down for us. And he'll go wherever. Like he's been. And any of the customers that have dealt with him have said he's just a great guy to deal with, and he's really easy in our end to work with too. He's a professional.
Yeah, he gets a lot of. I've seen the pictures of of his trailer all loaded up. Looks pretty cool. That'd be neat.
Yeah, I've even
on the highway.
Yeah, I've had people send me pictures of him going down the interstate and like the middle of nowhere. You wouldn't even think. And there goes a load of Eastamaids.
That's awesome. What do we got here? A bunch of sawmill manufacturers have been doing live streams of their product demo days since the pandemic started.
Well, that's good.
I know Log Soul sawmills, they're always doing live streams for theirs.
Was that right?
Wood Miser, they are super busy. They're doing like 15 units a week. I've heard like they're backed way up again. And that was I've seen a couple of the Wood Miser ones. I don't know what I was looking for the other day, but I came across Wood Miser's YouTube, and whoever's doing the marketing there is doing a good job on it. Yeah, those machines basically sell themselves too. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And we run a Wood Miser. It is a pretty nice machine.
Yeah.
James, you should ask Jerry with a G how many calls he got last Monday and Tuesday about the 37D about YouTube advertising works. I was gonna actually ask you about that too. You beat me to it, James.
A lot of them, like an awful lot of them. The phone was pretty crazy there Monday, Tuesday last week, and it's neat because we even have a lot of guys that have machines on order that are upgrading to that model now. It just performs really, really well, and that's a perfect example of it. And I don't even know if you'll see us. Like we have a couple of used machines coming. I shouldn't even say it on here, but we have a couple of guys that are trading up machines here just to get newer units, and I don't even think I'll put a used unit online anymore. Like the last one we did, I think Jerry had like 150 phone calls and like 200 emails on it. It was crazy. And it's too bad because like I told guys like call you got to call at 8 o'clock. If you got to call at 8 o'clock, and it was just like a radio station. Like he literally for the whole morning he didn't even get off the phone, and let alone all the emails on. It was really good. It was neat to see it, like to see that it actually works that well, but it's pretty busy when we do that. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to do that. It might just be a slip in, a luck of the draw when you call, sort of thing.
So this isn't something you want to do on a regular basis, is change machines after they've ordered them?
Well, no, that's not too bad. As long as we have enough time ahead of us,
Yeah.
like we can normally change a machine with even as we build it. Honestly, it's not a big deal. The hard part with the diesels is, I know we talked earlier amongst ourselves about the supply chain and stuff like that. You just have to make sure that stuff's coming in and is available, and especially with the diesels being new, we've sold enough of them now that we really we're having to put systems in place to make sure that we're guaranteed the engines right. So
Yeah. Which is the way to do it. That's what you want.
yeah,
Whatever you
yeah,
have, 30 rolling in a month or 50 roll, whatever it is, you almost want that automatic restocking order always going in.
that's exactly it. Yeah, you got to make sure you have a blanket ahead of you to make sure you have stuff there. So
Jim says I'll start a channel for a CS processor.
you start getting the views and we'll talk.
Joseph Kennedy, I split wood in the dark. I split wood on the dark side with my power split from Power Split International. I need to upgrade to a processor.
Yeah, and like if you're buying stuff in that's like logs, a processor typically, in my experience, it's going to pay for itself very, very, very quickly. Like it's a difference in hiring a guy. Like
Yeah.
literally, it's if you look at the payment on a processor, it's one guy's wages for a month, and in the production you get out of you never ever get it out of a man. That's for sure.
Yeah. And like if you guys are buying firewood or you're getting processor firewood, we sell like hand cutting guy firewood and we sell processor firewood. We don't sell a lot of loads,
Yeah.
but we do sell some. Like the loads are totally different.
Mm-hmm.
Like a processor guy would not want what we're sending for a hand cutting guy. It's bigger stuff so they can, they can split. It's easier. They want to deal with. We're going to sell our better wood to a processor or keep it for ourselves, right?
Yeah, and typically, like in my experience, like what dad when dad was along, like he really liked the processor guys. Because if you had an extra load going somewhere, whatever, if you were hauling a truck and a pup, and you were close to the other guy, you just bring him a load of logs, and you look after him, you make sure the wood's good and clean, and typically if you can find a logger, he really likes having that spot where he can dump a load or two of wood.
Yep.
They like that a lot.
Yep. For us, we even, if we're on a job, we'll send all our wood goes back to our yard. We'll sort, we'll take the best, and then leave anything that's either one too big, too rough to go on, and that will just go in another pile. And we'll sell that to a hand. We'll end up with, a load of 2 of that a year, and that will go to a hand cutting guy.
Yeah.
Pro C said it was 90 degrees in central Iowa today.
Wow, that's getting hot.
That's a toasty day. That's gonna start drying stuff out. I guess those guys are seeding like crazy down there now.
I bet you they would be.
So we're gonna get into this. Tired of the wind, says a guy who sits in the cab of his 4000 C processor. When it's 100 degrees out and you have no air conditioning and the wind's blowing over the cab, so it's putting all the sawdust over you, is not fun.
Not a bit.
That is why I don't like the wind.
It's just like an oven in there. I don't know, and I don't know why. Like when we build a cab, we won't build one without AC in it because it's not too bad. But like most guys are doing this. Like even in the spring when you get a warm day like that, they would be like 65 or 70. It's so hot in the cab with the processor. It's just enough to sicken you.
It is. It gets to the point, especially if you're getting sawdust blowing over you, like you can't get away from it, and it's in your eyes. And then you get irritated and angry, and
Yeah,
the rooms
and
start
nothing
forming.
goes anywhere near smooth.
No, it doesn't. The wind you set up, it's always coming out of the northwest. You set up, and all of a sudden, it's like either it'd be coming out of the east or southeast, blowing right back over the cab, and it's like, oh
Yeah,
my goodness, it just drives me nuts. One job every year, it does that. Always, anytime you're in that yard, out of the northwest. Once we set up there for processing, right over the cab, coming right back at you.
yeah,
It sucks.
yeah.
My pal Al, he said 50-mile-an-hour gusts in central Iowa as well. That's blowing pretty good.
Yeah, that is. Yeah.
Brad, he doesn't have a cab, so he wears a snowmobile helmet. I hear you.
Would be a bad idea.
It was like almost as bad as getting stuff in my eye. I was going to get the
Aviators.
goggles. No, not even that. Like just the motorcycle like the dirt biking goggles. So it seals up around your eyes. Keep the dust out. It was just getting so bad. But I'm not going to have to worry about that anymore. Charles is going to enjoy his surf and turf. Lucky guy.
Surf and turf.
I heard a splitter back in February. We'll be done sooner. We were just talking about this before, too.
Yeah, I don't want to put a timeline on anything right now. Like, we're planning on adding a second shift to the shop when we move into town, like when we merge everything together in the fall here. So we're planning on running a second shift in there, and we'll still have probably 2 or 3 times production without even adding a second shift. So I'm hoping we can get the lead times down drastically. So we're hoping we can get it to you like a whole lot sooner than what you typically would. So.
Joseph Kennedy, how much for a used machine? I'll take it.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I don't know yet. That will be the luck of the draw. That's all that's going to be. It's going to be. It's just somebody might call one day, and that'll be it.
James says you should announce used machines on Kev's stream. There's only like 40 of us here. Well, we get into this. There's going to be used 4,000 coming up for sale. So contact me, send me an email if you're interested. We have one for sale. Might as well let the cat out of the bag. We are getting a new 48C, the new one coming out. We're waiting just like everyone else. I'm not getting any special treatment on this. So we're August delivery, you figure? Or yeah,
we're thinking in around there. Like in around August is sort of the timeline that I think Jeremy had for you, and that seemed pretty achievable. You guys will really like that new machine. Like it's going to be pretty impressive.
Yeah, trust me, I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty pumped to try it, especially the air conditioning. That would be nice.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
So it's 4,000C circular saw, attached conveyor. 3-strand live deck. It's got the 80 horse cat on it. We will need it till the end of August or when we receive our new one. We'll go earlier on that. It will have, 1,800 hours on it now. So if you guys are interested, my email will be, I better put that in the description, but my email will be in the description. You can shoot me an email if you want any more on it. There's lots of videos on my YouTube channel. You can go check it out, and we can go from there. So, yeah, we have a new one coming.
Yeah,
I'm very, very pumped about.
Everybody
knows I'm a Kubota guy.
I'm really excited about them. They're going to be a pretty impressive machine to run and to see run. I think you guys are going to be pretty happy with it. So,
yeah, I'm pumped to see how the cab is and that the new seat. You got the air ride seat, the swivel seat. Plus, it's to the other side, so I can see me always walking to the wrong side of the machine for the first little bit.
Oh, I bet you would. Yeah, it'd be hard to get used to at first. I bet you.
Oh yeah. And I'm guessing that still will be left-hand control, right?
No, it'll be right-hand control.
What?
Yeah, it'll be like when you get in the cab, it'll be on your right hand.
No. Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Why are you switching sides?
Just because you won't have to climb over the control then, right? Because it's going to be all part of the seat.
You mean I got to relearn how to do that? And I'm a lefty.
Oh, it's going to be a piece of cake, believe me. Piece of cake.
Oh no. This is going to go bad for the first one.
Oh no, you got this.
Really,
I got faith in you.
Yeah, and it's on the left.
It's just because you're going to be climbing. You'd have to climb over the joystick then, right? So you'd have to, like, to get in and out of the cab. It would have to be on the other side. And I looked at it too to keep the cab on the right hand side of the machine, and we couldn't figure out a way to do it and still have everything work and function and perform the way that we would want it to. Like, no matter what, it would have to switch.
I was wondering, you could do it like the excavators. They got like the flip. They can flip them up and back.
Yep. That might not be a bad idea. I thought about that too, and I'm not quite sure if that'll be something we'll see in the future. But I definitely crossed my mind on that.
Well, I'm sure it will be fine. I just got to teach myself again. That's all. It's like running. Really, to be honest, because I've had guys asking. I'm a the left-hand control. Riley, he's probably watching now. He got his put on the left side or the right side. I'm like, why would he do that? But now they're all going to be like that. So I guess he's up one if he gets a new machine.
Yeah, when we first started doing it, we had a lot of resistance with that. Like, it was a tricky thing to get guys to convince them they could run it with their left hand. But it's no different than running any other piece of equipment, right? Like, no matter what piece of equipment you're running, you're using both your hands for it. So it's not anything that's unnatural by any means.
It's like going from an older case skid steer that's got the H controls to going to ISO. That's the exact same thing. Once you go to it, man, I love it.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
So guys will figure it out.
Yeah. I'm really excited about the joystick itself. Like, we've cleaned up like a lot of it. Like, there won't be any buttons on the face, but there'll be two toggles on it. So the one toggle will run your live deck in, and then the other toggle will run your dump table, and then the other toggle will run your wedge and your rollers, and your one log crate will move out of the way. So it's just going to really, really simplify the control itself.
Yeah. Which actually works out, because on the Kubota for running the grapple, it's a toggle, so I'm already used to that. Right?
Yeah, and like a lot of it's going to be proportional too. Like your wedge, instead of being like a bang on off, it's going to be like you move it slow or fast, right?
Yeah.
So.
Here's my buddy Andy Cobb from Cobb Brothers Logging. He's down south too. I don't think he was on the last one. You should see some of his videos. He does YouTube as well. And the log trailer's full. Oh, I couldn't believe it. All full of, I'm positive it was all pine. And he just lines them all up, and he has the trucks come in, and they just go, right? They're all set up ready.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
I'll have to check them out.
Joseph Kennedy says he does 3 log trucks a week by hand, and it's a lot of work. Oh yeah,
that is a lot of work. Yeah, a lot of it.
Yeah. Mike McTavish, he's out in, I want to say Nova Scotia. He's out east somewhere. But how you doing, Michael?
How's it going, Mike?
What do we got? 48, 49. Do you want to start talking about this 37D? What you've got going on with that? Everybody, if anybody's got questions for the 37 beat. Wow, James. Oh, wow.
It's gonna be blippy. Don't you worry.
And that's not even my boss saying that. I don't know if he's watching tonight, but
it's gonna be blippy.
Yeah, that's fine. I like it. I do. It doesn't bother me one bit. So everything in our yard, I already gave a little Easter egg in my last video and said everything in our yard is either orange or blue. I'm like, we can just put them together. Nobody.
I was paying attention. Don't you worry.
Nobody questioned it. Not one. I couldn't believe it. Dad channel. How you doing?
Oh, hey, Pierre.
And he looks like, just looking at the thumbnail, I don't know if she's pregnant or not, but congratulations if she is.
He just had a little girl there. I think Pierre had a little girl maybe 3 or 4 months ago, and then he's got another one on the way.
Congratulations.
Yeah, he's super nice man. He's a class act, Pierre is.
BT, you seem to have a great bunch of guys, but is it hard to find skilled help in Perth? Welders, fabricators are hard to come by in southwestern Ontario.
No, honestly, it's not. We have had, or I myself have had really good luck with it. I don't normally have a hard time finding people. I try to, we try to make sure that the shop is a really good spot to come and work. That's like one of my big goals, is to make sure that we are like one of the best employers in our area. To make sure that when people, it's going to be a spot where people want to come to work. Is what the goal is here. But no, I don't have too much trouble finding good guys to come to work at all, actually.
And that's good. You know, you got some, the few guys we were dealing with, they were long-term guys too, right? Jeremy's.
Like Jeremy's been there a long time. Gage's been there a long time. Like Mikey Kuzno's been there a long time. They're all really good guys. They're really good at what they do, and they're good guys to work with and to communicate with. They're great.
Yeah, like I said, I say it every time I guess we talk about Mike, but I talk to him personally as a friend, and he's a great guy to deal with when I have needed him, and they're just, you can't say enough, right? And that's what you want in a company.
No, he's very knowledgeable and really good at what he does.
Yeah. Joseph, call every day. 8 o'clock. Remember, Joseph, 8 o'clock.
That's exactly it.
Jeffrey,
hey,
how's
Jeff.
it going, buddy?
I haven't heard from Jeff in a long time. I haven't got Facebook, so I don't get to see a lot of these guys. I miss Jeff. He's a super nice man.
Yeah.
Make sure you tell Patty I said hello.
So James, yes, it will be blue and orange. So I will answer that. It will be blue and orange. And no worries on being late, Jeffrey. It's fine. And Billy, his granddaughter, is graduating high school this year. Congratulations.
Right on. That's exciting.
Jeffrey said you messed me up. Yes, old dog's gonna have to learn new tricks.
He'll be just fine.
Yeah.
One thing we talked about there at the shop, we I don't know if we'll ever try it out. If you look at a lot of the submarines, I guess now they're running a GameCube or a Xbox controller, like for the periscope and for a lot of functions. And it's something that's very familiar and very inexpensive to get, right?
And everyone knows how to use them.
Well, that's exactly it. Yeah. We got talking with there one day, and like, fuck, you know what? We could almost do that. That's almost a doable thing. And it would be really neat because you could sit anywhere in the cab with it. You could even a wireless one if you wanted to.
Well, yeah, that's what you. Well, I can see something bad happening with a wireless one.
Yeah, me too.
That'd
I
probably
think you'd
be
have to have it
really
mounted somewhere that you couldn't actually walk outside with it. But
good.
it would be
Yeah,
you probably would have a hard time finding people to run it then.
yeah, you're probably right on that. I could see somebody sitting over the splitting chamber with it and hitting the button and getting it like right between the eyes.
Yeah, I know of a guy that did that.
Yeah, that was the joke.
Don't you worry, I got you.
Anyway, we'll keep that between us. Yes,
Surprised he
there's
was
my
tall
email.
enough. I'm surprised he was tall enough to see over the dash.
Oh, that's too funny. Anyway, here's my email, guys. Write it down if you're interested in use 4000. I'll get back to you. And like I said, I got lots of video of it so you can see what we got. Billy says, "Oh, she's signed up for college already." Oh boy,
Right on, good for her.
that's awesome. What's she
Well,
going for, Billy?
that's a big stepping stone. That hopefully it goes good for her.
Here's Dad's channel. Awesome, thanks. Thank you. You're gonna have your hands full when you get that second one, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Or third in Andrew's case. How's he doing? I never asked you before we started.
Well, I can't hear him back there, so he's doing good. He's doing really good.
Either eating or sleeping.
That's pretty well it. Yeah. He's pretty happy little guy.
Yeah. All right. What size wood will a 37 do diameter?
Kind of whatever you want, honestly. There's not a limit. The big thing with the splitters is it's not a matter of whether the lift will lift it or whether the machine will split it. It's a matter of personal safety. Once you get up around that, I'd say 3 foot 40-inch mark, that's about as big of a piece of wood you want to be wrestling with. If that thing comes off there, it's going to hurt you. And that's what we try and tell guys. It have no problem splitting. We a big Mike Zach actually in Ohio last year brought some monster rounds. I think they were about 50 inches around. We loaded them with the skid steer on the splitter, and we no problem at all splitting them. It's just big, like really big.
Yeah, exactly. It's what you can handle. It's that half round or whatever splitting what you got on, but there's still going to be half coming off, or that that little pie you took out. You still got the rest of the pie especially in oak. It's super heavy.
Well, that's exactly it. And like normally, what we'll tell guys is if you're doing really big diameter stuff, like and you have a skid steer around it, that the skid steer splitters really work well for that. You can bust the stuff down into at least a manageable size. So that's something you can handle and not get hurt or not bust your back. It's no fun having a sore back, that's for sure.
No, I had a sore back this week from last Friday. A 12 by 12 by 6 chunk of ash beam we should have used a skid steer.
I hear you.
I paid for that. Still paying for that. You figure I'd know better by now. Dad's channel. Andrew's the best boss ever.
Well, thanks a lot, Pierre.
KTM Ken.
Yeah, KTM Ken, the fastest man in the land. Yeah. Kenny, who works for me, his stepfather actually owns a KTM dealer here, and he's a licensed motorcycle mechanic. But Kenny race enduro, and he raced on a very high level, and really good at it. And it's funny. The big joke with Kenny around the shop is that he's really good on two wheels. You give him 2 wheels, and he's just a magician with it. You add a wheel to that, you go 3 or 4 wheels, color day.
It's all over. Too many.
Yeah.
Joseph wants to know how many hours would I have to work to earn a processor, Andrew?
Well, that all depends. I'll tell you, this whole YouTube thing, it's a strange thing. It's I've seen people excel at it at rates that you would never believe, and you wonder how. And other people work hard at it, and they don't gain anything.
Yep. Oh, Jeffrey, just saying hi back. She said hi, guys.
Oh, right
too.
on.
Well, hello. That's awesome, and you're right. They are super nice people, and they look like they have so much fun. Like following them on,
Oh,
friends on Facebook.
they're just amazing human beings.
Yeah.
Like they really are. Like I really look forward to seeing them and hearing from them. They're just great people.
Dave Keeling, he bought a 4000C last year. Was wondering if there's any video or pictures of the newly designed processor.
If you give Gage a call, if you call the shop, he'll be able to get you some pictures of it. Like we have a model on the computer. There's a handful of things that we're fixing up and changing kind of as we go here, just to make sure we have everything hammered out. But we do have a model that we can show you or send you a picture of it, anyways. So
can I show it on here? Or is that all right?
Oh yeah. Geez, if you have it, Kev, yeah, 100%.
I can give you a little. Where is it? Let me get another question here, and I'll look for it while you're answering. I'll get to that, Dave. Give me a second. KTM Ken is the best engineer.
I'll let him know you said that, Pierre.
T&J's Outdoors. How's it going, guys? I watched a couple of your videos. You guys are working real hard. That's for sure. Splitting smoke by hand. They're getting after it.
That's a lot of work. That's a lot of work.
Anthony. Hello, Kevin and Andrew. Wanted to ask if you still plan on producing the Elite processor and what the price will be. Also, what will be the shipping costs to Hartford, Connecticut? Tony at Newington Stone.
No, you won't see me build that thing. We only built one of them, and it was a contraption. It was there's a lot going on for one machine. It's not worth the aggravation of doing it like that. It sounds like a really good idea, but you almost need a Peterbilt to move it, and it's not as good of an outfit as what it's made out to be, honestly. You're better off to have everything kind of separate there and set up. It's nice to be able to move everything all in one shop, but it's not anything you'll see me play with in the future, I don't think, anyways. And that could change too, but it's hard to build kind of that one of something or one every once in a while. It's just really hard to make any time with it and any money on it. It's just really difficult. So
that machine stayed in Ontario, didn't it?
Yeah, it's in New Hamburg is where it is. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I have heard. I'm pretty sure a log truck driver delivered there to them.
Oh, entirely possible. Really super nice bunch of guys. A couple Mennonite lads bought it, and younger guys. And they're incredibly good pair of guys, mechanically inclined, and they had both owned processors before that. One lad owned a 5200, and one lad owned a 4000, and they traded them both in, and then went together on this Elite processor.
Nice. Is it still? They're still running it. They still own it then.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. I think for some reason, I think they may be in the process of building their own processor right now. From what they said, they called, I guess, Dad back mid-November, and me and Dad kind of know what's going on there, and I told Dad, I told him I didn't have any interest in building it, or building them another one. They wanted to upgrade, but it just it's a lot of hours into it. For building one of those, you could probably build 5 or 6 other processors. It just doesn't make any sense to aggravate yourself with it.
And it really start backing up the shop too. You'd think, everything.
It really does. It really does. And then the testing and planning and all that other end of it to make sure everything's right is very very time consuming. It really eats up a lot of resource, and it's hard to If you actually billed for everything you had into it, you'd never have anybody pay it.
See how well it comes up here. Hopefully that comes across all right for everyone. It's because of the light in here.
Yeah, you can kind of see it there.
Yeah, I can't get the bottom. There we go.
Oh. We've changed it a wee bit since then. Not too much. I made that was probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, eh?
Oh, at least. Yeah. Probably longer than that.
No, probably the last time we were talking.
No, I had it before then.
Oh, did you?
It would have been probably maybe. Oh, I should just check where I got it from. Because he would have had it. What was the day on that? Second week of April. So that's when that came through. Yeah, there's probably changes. That doesn't surprise me.
Nothing too major. The one thing that we're wanting to do with it is we're going to make the pan at the back of the like on the splitter end of it. We're going to extend that back far enough that you're going to be able to put a swivel conveyor underneath it that'll actually swivel both ways and not hit the cab. You know what I mean?
Oh, so there's going to be you are going to do a swivel then?
I don't know if we'll do it with the attached conveyor, but we're going to be able to do it with like a radial stacking conveyor.
Oh, okay.
Because what we're finding with it too is a lot of guys that are running kilns now. That's how they'll set up the baskets. Is they'll set them up kind of in a semicircle, and they'll start loading one and push the conveyor over and load the basket. So I think it's something that we really have to consider, at least going in the future, is how we're going to be able to integrate with that, right?
Are you going to make the hydraulic? Because we do this with our stacking conveyor. Turn the wheels and you push it back and forth. And I'd almost like a second set of wheels, so you're not always having to lift it up to move the wheels. You know, you'd have a second set hydraulically go down for your oscillating, whatever you want to call it, your radial.
Oh yeah.
So they just go down and then hydraulic drive them, like you already want to do, right? Just makes sense.
Yeah, you know that may be an idea, Kev. Honestly, that would probably work out really well, because it'd be nice to be able to do it while you were in the cab of the machine, like without even having to get out of it.
Yeah.
Especially for guys that are doing baskets and stuff, you'd be able to do it right there.
Yeah, I've actually seen the idea. I've always had the idea, but I've actually seen someone, I can't remember their name, they fill baskets. I don't know if it's for a kiln or not, but they do baskets like the IBS totes. And they've got a hydraulic drive motor. You can see it on the wheels, and they're using it to go back and forth, right?
Oh yeah.
So that
would be
the other
really
thing
handy.
Is you'd almost have to chain, because you got to hang the conveyor from the tumbler to stay put while you're moving it, right? Because that wants to swing out as you push it. Anyway,
that's exactly. You'd have to have it fixed there. Like, we're trying to figure out a way we're trying to figure out a way to fix the conveyor to the splitter where there's a lot of clearance there too. You know what I mean? Because like yours, like to hook up the splitter, to hook up the processor and the conveyor is kind of a tricky thing to do. We're hoping to have a lot more clearance there, that it's just a simple, easy attachment, and there's no screwing around with it.
Yeah. And it's tough. Now you're back to doing you want to make one unit that works for everything, right? Instead of, this one's a little bit different here, and this one's.
That's exactly, like we're gonna try it. Like that's the big thing, is like trying to standardize that it's everyone's the same, and it's going to be able to integrate and work with pretty well whatever anybody else has. Is what our hope is for it. So.
Yeah, and I totally get why you're doing it. Makes total sense anyway. Hi, Andrew and Kevin from Southwest Michigan. Really enjoy the knowledge and professionalism shown by both of you. Well, thank you, Crazy Dave McCon.
Well, thanks a lot, Dave. I don't get that very often. least in my day-to-day life.
We try to, and we try to help everybody out. We have a bit of an edge on people, and we're showing like how we do our operation. We're showing guys, and guys are doing what we're doing now. Let's everybody do it. If it works for us, maybe it doesn't work for somebody else, but maybe it will help them too, right? Especially smaller guys starting out. They want some advice, and I like helping people out. I want to see people succeed, right?
Yeah, and like on my end of it, like that's the number one key for us too. Like that's critical for us, because if we can give you the tools and the help to succeed in your business, then we've succeeded. You will continue to buy processors, you'll continue to buy splitters, and you'll be a model for other people in the business. So that's what I really, really try and do on my end of it too, is to make sure that you guys have the information and guidance to succeed at whatever you're doing.
Yeah. And a couple of kids that are working real hard, they're still splitting right now, listening to the live stream. That's awesome, guys.
Right on.
William Klein, how will a skid steer splitter work on a wheel loader? This depends how big the wheel loader is.
Yeah, I guess it would. The biggest thing is the lift capacity in the flow. Like, I would think most any wheel loader will have the lift capacity for it. It's just going to be the auxiliary flow and the pressure. I would think the pressure shouldn't be a problem on a wheel loader, but the flow, you want to make sure that you want to have at least like 12, 15 gallons a minute there to move it. You can get away with less than that, obviously. It's just going to be really slow. That's going to be the only difference in it on. If it has the skid steer plate on it, you'd have no problem putting it on at all. I actually have a video of it running on my tractor, on my L6060 Kubota. I have a video of running a skid steer splitter on it. The only issue with it is it's out there a long ways, and you can hardly see over out of a tractor to start with. So
yeah, they really start hanging out the front of a tractor. Yeah,
they really do. Yeah, it's a lot of screwing around, and you know, but by the end of it, I got onto it pretty good. It just I think it's you're so used to, or I'm so used to running it in the skid steer that it was just tricky to get onto it running the tractor. But I'd imagine somebody that does a lot of loader work with a tractor would probably be just fine with it.
Yeah, I agree. Going from skid steer to a loader tractor, it's like, give me my skid steer, please.
I hear you. I should do a video on that too, because I've had a couple of guys ask me to do videos on the skid steer and the tractor in the wood yard, and the only advantage the tractor has is that it doesn't tear stuff up. That's the only advantage I found with it. This skid steer is a far superior piece of equipment in every aspect besides tearing stuff up.
Yeah, I agree. And unless you got a farm and you want to run the PTO, you're cutting hay or something. But
that's exactly it. Like if you have more uses for the tractor, that would be about the only advantage of it. And I guess cost too. Like, you can buy a decent utility tractor, and it's not terribly expensive, especially compared to a good skid steer.
Yeah, we could talk for an hour just on tractors versus skid steers. Getting people really wound up, but
yeah, and then you go that's from for sure.
You go from a wheeled skid steer to a track skid steer, and oh my.
Yeah, and it depends on the preference and depends on the application. It really, really does, and I don't know if there's a right or a wrong to any of it.
Yeah, it's kind of whatever works for your application. In the end, right?
Yeah, I do know for sure that I won't ever buy anything other than a JCB again. I'm gonna buy a skid steer. I'm JCB right to the end now.
See, I wasn't a fan of that side door, but
it's great. I'll tell you, it's beautiful. It's like heaven. We're booking into December of 2022, so not this December. The following December is when we're booking into if you were to order a machine. That being said, you will likely get it significantly sooner than that, but that is we're scheduling stuff based off of our current schedule, and that will change as we move into our new shop.
And to be clear, the wood splitters and processors have a different schedule of being finished as well, right?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, and hopefully hopefully within the next year we'll have both of them kind of line up together. But it's hard taking over the processor business and having it that far out, and it's kind of rob Peter to pay Paul sort of thing, right? So we're going to try and keep a lot of the guys that are doing processor stuff still on processor stuff, and then we're going to add the guys doing the splitter stuff on the other end of it. So
you're gonna add some splitter guys onto the processor, so we'll get ours sooner, right? That's how it's going.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I'm kidding, guys. He's not doing that. Don't worry, your splitters are coming. But really, you can do it. And thanks, Kevin and Andrew. You guys are the best. So hopefully, it's tough showing the pictures on here using that camera. Like Andrew said, get a hold of Gage, and he can send you. There's actually updated ones on it, so you can get a better idea on it. And to go with that, because somebody asked, I thought somebody asked about. Oh, right here, Brad Load, right here. So the cab is on the opposite side. Yes, that is correct. The cab will be on the other side of the machine.
Yeah, it will be. Yeah, it's too bad I don't even have a picture of it on the computer here. I think I can even share the screen, but I don't even think I have a picture of it on my laptop.
Yeah, I'm not quite. Oh boy, no, that's not gonna do it. Go back to that. Yeah. I'm going to have to figure that out so I can do that. I am not. Yeah. I'm not going to figure it out while we're chatting here. So I'll figure that out on a later date for our next one. So I'll be able to do that. T&J, he said he's done. And thanks for watching us. Well, you're welcome, man. I'd like to support other YouTubers. So I want to see you guys do good on it. You know,
well, thanks for watching us, T&J.
They're younger kids, and they're getting into the firewood, and their dad, I think, has a YouTube channel as well. So I want to see these guys do good and grow. That's what it's all about. It's business for them. They're learning. I like that. You don't see that as much nowadays.
No.
My buddy Alan, how you doing, Alan?
Hey, Alan.
Gonna love the blue or the orange and blue. It's blue and orange. We'll go blue and orange. I like saying it that way better. One day I want a piece like that.
Well, I'm sure you'll have one someday, Jeff. And you'll love it.
Oh boy, he's drained the battery listening to us. Oh, what's Alan saying? Excuse my writing, just no logger. So I wasn't sure. Really love that diesel.
Oh, it works good.
Yeah. Joseph, we'll put the splitting head on the processor like a multi-tech has on it for bundling wood.
I have looked at this about every way you could possibly look at it, and I don't know yet. The issue that I have seen with it, and nothing wrong with it. They built an amazing, fantastic machine. You're limited to 18-inch wood. So that being said, do you have a 12-way on your processor, Kev?
No, we had one. It's our wood. We don't get enough big enough stuff to put through it.
To do it.
We run a lot of smaller stuff. Anything that's big enough really to go through it, we'll pull the bigger chunks out and just resplit them. It's just easier than changing the head because we're on that. It takes a bit of. We can change the head out in about half an hour, but
it takes time. It's not just a simple pull it in and out. I think the thing with it too is like you're limited to 18-inch wood. Where if you have like the 12-way or 16-way wedge that we make already, and you limit yourself to that 18-inch, 20-inch stuff, you're gonna find that it probably makes the same kind of wood for you. Honestly, like the only pieces that might be a little bit of an oddball shape will be the 4 in the middle. So I don't know if you'll see me play with that or not, but there's definitely a market there. Just like I said, when you limit it to a certain size, you're almost doing the same thing as what we're doing already. So I just don't know if there's a huge advantage to it as long as you're conscious of what you're putting in it for your bundle wood or for your restaurant wood.
Yeah. I'm skipping a couple. Tim, CT3 or
There's Tim.
3. He's in the house.
Well, it's a great. I've met Tim a handful of times. Super nice man. Really great guy. I met him in Bangor there. Maybe last year or 2 years ago. I met Tim down there, and I met him a couple of times down there. He was in the Rotobeck booth.
Yeah.
And great conversation with him. Really super nice guy to get along with.
Yeah, he was. I met him down at Paul Bunyan. We were down there for dinner and stuff. So yeah, super nice guy. Nice to see you. What's he? He's about to be in the market for a splitter.
Well, you know who to call. You just give me a ring and I'll look after you, Tim.
Yeah, best in the business. Best machines in the business here, Tim. That's for sure. Mark R. Andrew, big thanks for the recommendation on the Picaroon. I've been busting my back in the woodpile for years and spent 9 hours today with the log rate in my back. Thanks you.
Picaroon goes a long ways. That's a godsend. You definitely have to have one of them.
Yeah, for sure. And log rate is at that too. They make an awesome Picaroon. Yeah,
they really do. And again, Kevin's another one of those really good guys, and that's the thing that I miss the most with the shows is seeing everybody that you see show after show that are just great people.
Yeah, exactly. Where are we here? Garney, Andrew, have you ever had many of your splitters needing splitting cylinders packing replaced? If so, how many hours, cycles, cords do you see before cylinder rebuilds, not counting human error?
Oh, very, very few. Honestly, I don't know. I can count on one hand.
That's actually a great question too.
Yeah, no, I can count on one hand easily. I would think how many times we've ever had like a cylinder failure or a packing failure. Like I think I maybe had like one or two of them that the nut backed off inside the cylinder, and that was a bit of a head scratcher. But very few cylinder failures at all.
Yeah, if they're decent cylinders, it's unless you get wood back in there to pop that seal out, like jamming in there. But cylinders should be good for quite a few strokes before you have something happening, right?
Yeah, and the geometry of it helps it a lot. You have to make sure, like everything when you build the machine, everything you need to make sure everything's square and perfect and level, and that makes the world a difference. So you can't have a cylinder pushing uphill and expecting to last or nothing like that. It's just not gonna happen. So
yeah. Tim, if Tim's still here, CT3, how big of a splitter are you looking for? What are you looking for? It'd be interesting to see what your thoughts are here. Anthony, what's going on, guys? Not much. You actually had the first comment of this live stream like on Friday night, I think it was. Waiting. Chase, what are your thoughts on the Yappa Firewood processors?
They're great. A really good outfit. If you're doing smaller diameter stuff, it's really hard to beat one. They're a fast machine. They're a reliable machine. The service is great from Bob at Metza. You wouldn't go wrong with one. The only downfall is if you watch the video. I actually put one up the other day on firewood processor production. Even going up a couple inches in the wood, you gain a lot of production. But if you don't get that wood, you won't go wrong buying one.
Yeah, that's what Ohio wood burner runs. Seems like a decent machine that he's got there.
No, they really are, and it's they're neat to see run because they cut really fast, they split really fast, and you got to be a little more careful with what you're doing with it. It's not quite as rugged of a machine, but by all means, you wouldn't go wrong buying one. And Bob at Metz is a class act. You don't find any better.
Tim says he wants the biggest Andrew makes and the gas engine. We'll buy a conveyor at the same time. Why don't you go with a 37D? Get the biggest and baddest.
That may be the way to fly for you, Tim.
I'm selling them for you, and now I'm on the sales team here. That diesel, that is pretty impressive, though, Tim. You better. Andrew's got some videos up on his. I think it was the last. No, not the last one. The one before that was on the
one before.
37D.
Yeah, so it's sort of what happens when you take the Firewood processor parts and put it on a splitter. It is essentially that 3070 right now. We have a handful more testing to do with it, but it's a pretty impressive machine to see run.
And let me sell this to you some more, Tim. Everything you have is diesel in the yard. I'm sure you got a diesel tank there. Why would you want gas? Now you got jerry cans around. Just get a diesel. Go big. 37D. Gene, any plans to speed up the cycle time on the 2228? I think you did that already, didn't you?
We've sped them up a little bit over time. I'm gonna play with it here the next couple of weeks. You probably won't see it a whole lot, and the simple reason for that is because they are a rock solid, reliable machine right now. Like we very seldom ever have anything go wrong with one. Excuse me, and I would hate to jeopardize that. I want to make sure that it's going to be a good machine. There's a handful of things we can do to speed them up, like we can run the same pump system and stuff as what's on that 3070 right now, but I don't think there's going to be a huge advantage at the end of it on the gas machine. So
yeah, and here for T&J Outdoors, good to have a couple young people developing good work ethic and appreciation for manual labor. 100% on this. I can't agree anymore with this. And that's what I like about it. I like to see these kids working like that, and they're learning. It's awesome.
Yeah.
You don't see it enough nowadays. This is another, actually, because Pete and I were looking and we were wondering about this. Are the prices on the website Canadian? Which they're actually US on the website, right?
No, actually they're not. Because I have updated the website.
Maybe when
I have it changed that if you are in Canada, you will see the Canadian price. And if you are in the United States, you will see the American price.
Okay.
So you'll see it in Canadian dollars in Canada and US and
okay
in America.
You must.
So I've got it set up like that.
I think it was American when we looked at it.
It probably was, and what happened, you know why it was. When my Facebook account got because when I changed over with the processors, I had it set up like that you could see both prices.
Yeah.
When my Facebook account got hacked, my credit card that was tied to it, I had to cancel it, and it was an add-on on the website that I had to pay for. And I just found out the other day. Like it was probably like Wednesday or Thursday. Well, geez, that's why. So no, I've got it fixed up now, and it's if you're in Canada, it's Canadian pricing. If you're in America, it's US dollars.
And that's good. That's actually really good to know. Also, if you live in Ontario, can you order and can you pick up the machine at the shop?
Oh yeah, for sure. By all means, if you want to come and pick it up, you'd save the freight on, and we're more than happy to have you.
Jeffrey, I hear Boonville show is canceled. Is that true? Yes, it is true.
It is.
It
is true. Yeah.
And if you guys are not, we're not going to be there because there is no show. And we're back to this crossing the border thing. So any shows, Paul Bunyan's probably even going to be up in the air right now. I'll just say that. I don't think you weren't really sure about it yet, but
I'm not quite sure if I'm going to do it yet or not. Like, it's going to be tricky for me to do it because I've got, like, we're booking that far in advance right now, so it's hard to commit to building the amount of machines and putting resources into building for the shows too. Like that's kind of the other part of it too, because they don't want to push anybody off or be unfair to somebody either, right? So I'm hoping that. And we may go down even with just a couple of splitters, but it would really depend on how the border situation is for us. And and again, on what kind of a timeline we're working with, what's going on. So
yeah. Garnier, as I say, how many usable ends are on a skiddy, and how many are on a tractor? What can you get in and out? What can you get in and out of with the loader raised minus GCB, PTO, ground? Oh, okay, we're getting into this.
I'm not doing the tractor skid steer thing because they're gonna hurt feelings. So
again, this is a totally different live stream if we get into this.
It is 100% because I can argue that tooth and nail back and forth all day. I can argue both sides of that without any hesitation. So
hey, we log with skid steer, so ground doesn't bother us at all.
Yeah, there's lots of things I love the skid steer for. There's lots of things that I love the tractor for, and each one has their place. One's meant for shoveling shit.
Yeah. Savage Firewood. Good evening, Kevin and Andrew. Good evening. How you doing?
How's it going, Brad? Brad's right in my back door. He was at the last live stream too. He's in the big city of I think it's Burnstown is what they call that. Pretty sure it's Burnstown.
Burnstown.
Yeah, just north between Calabogie and Renfrew.
Anthony wants to know how he gets a hand on one of those baseball hats.
Well, you give Henry a call and we'll get one out to you, Anthony. You definitely deserve one or two or however many you need.
Look at that, just like that. That's pretty easy.
We'll look after you, don't you worry.
Joseph, I have a wonderful night. My grandson's here. Time to go. I'll contact you, Kevin and Andrew. Sure thing, Joseph.
Well, I hope you have all kinds of fun, Joseph. I hope you get to enjoy them.
Yeah, that's right. Enjoy your time with your grandson. What are your thoughts on the county line log splitters, mainly sold at Tractor Supply?
I don't think you'd ever go wrong with one, honestly, guys. Like, biggest thing is to make sure you get like a name brand engine, like get a Briggs or get a Honda on or whatever. But in terms of they have their place. They're not a production machine. If you're planning on going into business with one, it's a good spot to start. You'll find if you are going to do a business with it, you're going to spend way more time than what it would ever be worth. You're just as well to go and flip burgers, I would think. But in terms of that, I think they hold up just fine. There's lots of guys that do make good with them, but that's kind of my thoughts on them.
Yeah, I missed actually a question here from Anthony. Recommended wood splitter if one's thinking of getting started in a business.
Okay, that's a hard call.
It all depends on what
it's a load. That's exactly it. Really depends on what kind of wood you're getting, what your budget is, what kind of capital you have to shell it. It really depends. If you can afford a 1222 or an Axis, then that's probably the way to go with it. But if you don't, then like even like one of those county lines is going to be a good spot to start, or go with our Ultra. Like there's a lot of different ways to approach that, and I don't think there's a right or wrong to it.
Yeah, it's really in the wood you're getting in. I think you can go pretty good with the Ultra though. I got him. I guarantee, because right here, we'll go with what Jeffrey had to say. I bet you he's listening to this and he's watching your video on the 37D. For sure, you watch. He's going to comment now. Hell yeah. We got him. We got him locked in on that diesel now.
Oh, he's got to be rolling coal, especially a man like Tim. He's got to be rolling coal.
He has to. There's no way. He'll never hear the end of it if he doesn't get it. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, this is true.
James, just check. Canadian prices are showing. They start with the C now. Yeah, so when we looked, it didn't have that. I know that for sure.
No, it didn't. And it they just changed that. Like when I took on the Firewood processors and kind of merged the two websites. That's when I changed it, that you could see both prices and see kind of the way that it is. But now I have it set up that if you're in Canada, you see the Canadian price. If you're in the US, it's just US dollars. So
Brock, don't know if this has been asked yet. So when my wood splitter is ready in June, can I come up from the US and pick it up, or does Canada still have restrictions?
That'll be kind of a tight one for that, because I don't know if the borders will be open by then. If the borders are open, by all means, we can do the paperwork for you and get it done. It's very, very simple for us to do. And if the borders have to be open, by all means, come on up and grab her.
And he's, I guess, if you want to get into this, there's probably a loophole. Him coming across, it's business. When he goes back across, I don't, well, there's no difference with him coming with a truck and trailer, loading it on, than a transport truck coming across and picking it up, in my eyes. But
no, I don't think so
them.
either. I just don't know what kind of issues you're going to run into at the border.
Exactly. So that's before it's ready, call and find out what it's doing.
Yeah.
That's a good question, though.
And the borders are normally pretty good. You can call the borders, like whatever border crossing you're at, like Alexandria Bay or wherever. You can actually call customs or wherever they're in. They're normally really reasonable to deal with. Like the border officers are normally really, really good on both sides.
Yeah. We've crossed the border a pile of times, and I told him we were going to the Paul Bunyan show, and the guy asked me if it was a pancake eating contest there. And by the time I was done laughing, he was done laughing. He said, "Have a good weekend."
Yeah. We normally have more issues coming back into Canada than we ever do going into the United States. That's for sure. And I think it's the same for American guys going back.
Yeah. How is a cord measured? A cord of wood is 128 cubic feet, 4 by 4 by 8 feet. How do you set your prices? Every area is different.
And everybody's got an opinion on it.
So whatever the market will handle should be the price, really, I guess is the easiest way to put it.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And the fuck, I don't know where I was going with that. Lost my train of thought, honestly. But it's one of those things that you got to be the biggest thing of it. The biggest thing with anything, you have to have quality stuff. You have to have a quality product. It doesn't matter what business you're in. It doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't matter. You can be selling pens. If you have a good quality pen, somebody's going to pay top dollar for it. And you're going to have people kicking down your door for it. You have to have good quality stuff. That's number one key to anything. If you bring somebody a bunch of scrap or a bunch of rod and stuff, they're not going to call you back next year.
Yeah. I've seen guys, they've got firewood from somewhere else, and the trash that was left over at the bottom, like I was doing deliveries by it, and I'm like, I just felt bad for him, but I didn't want to seem rude dropping a card off. I'm not trying to steal business. I just want to give you a good product, right?
No, and that's number one.
He needed.
If you see the guys that excel at this and do and make a good living at this, they sell good wood. They don't sell a bunch of garbage. It's good firewood.
Yeah, for sure. Dave, hi Andrew. On your processors, approximately how many hours can you put on them before you trade them in on a new one to maximize trade-in value?
That's a tricky one, Dave. Most guys, when they trade them in, you're gonna see them in around 1,000, 1,500 hours, like on a first owner trading. And I would say that would kind of be the mark. And I would think that would be almost the same for any kind of equipment, any piece of equipment, like 1,000 hours, 1,500 hours. You'll see them trade over. There are other examples of that, like we're talking smaller, like processors, skid steer, stuff like that. Like obviously, if you're running a skidder or a log loader or a feller buncher, the 1,500 hours on one is you haven't even broke it in yet. So it really depends. But I'd say a processor, you'd be in around that 1,000, 1,500 hour mark would be when to trade it in. And at that, I don't think there'd be anything particularly worn out on it. But I think that's where you would probably get the best value, a best resale on it. So.
Yeah, and that's the same thing. 1,500 hours is what I heard too.
Yeah.
Mikey just graduated high school and started a small firewood business. I get a lot of my wood from tree service company, and the access is looking real good. Just haven't made quite enough. Well, you keep working on it, Mikey. Make
Yeah,
it
and
happen.
you hit the nail right on the head, Mikey. That if you're getting some tree service stuff that they're dropping off, that access is probably going to suit you just right to a T.
Yeah, and it's nice seeing there's another young guy working. It's good to see that. Like
I think it's funny you say that because I've been thinking about doing a video like that because I've done a handful of videos where I'm sitting in just in my speed shop and talking I think the one video I'm going to try and do here in the next little bit is going to be like the streets are paved in gold. You just got to bend over and pick it up. That's if you have the drive and ambition to do something, you'll succeed at it. Believe me.
Yep, for sure, 100%. Shane, how come no, or Andrew, how come no kinetic wood splitters?
I've thought of it. I've thought about it a lot. It just the idea of it doesn't sit well with me. Like how they work, like jamming a rack into a gear. Just I know they work. I know they function. Just the whole idea of it for me just doesn't sit well with me. The whole mechanical knowledge and understanding in my head it just doesn't jive for me. I don't know why, honestly. I just because they work fine. Like and you buy like a super splitter, good brand, like they last fine. But I'm just a lot of little stuff to go on, and at that point, I think you're just splitting hairs, and you may as well go hydraulic.
Yeah, I've never run a kinetic, but they're neat.
Oh, they're cool. I actually, when I did the video of the kinetic one versus hydraulic, I had a lot of fun running that, but it was really entertaining. It actually, like, I thought it was just hilarious seeing the blocks of wood fly off the end of it. But every time you hit that, and if you hit one that doesn't go quite right, that thing just, I don't know.
Cats in the cradle. Steel prices are getting out of control. Yeah.
Yes, they
Everything's
are.
getting out of control.
Yeah, it's more than double in a year, honest. Like it's crazy, and it's just kind of one of those things like you gotta kind of expect to be prepared for, especially with steel, because it's a market that's so unstable, anyways, right? Like it's never been a stable market. It's always going up or down one way or the other. So you can't set your prices on the steel price. You have to kind of plan for the worst and hope for the best, sort of thing. So
Yeah. Savage Firewood on the 1222 6-way and 4-way wedge. Will the 4-way act like a single wedge when fully lowered, or is this an option in the 4-way wedge?
yeah, like when you lower it all the way down, Brad, it will go. You'll just have the top knife sticking up there, and you'll have the single. And same as a 6-way. If you go all the way up with a 6-way, you'll be able to run something like 10 inches underneath it, and not touch the bottom blades. And you're close enough to me, Brad. Whatever wedges you want to try and take with you, whatever, it don't matter to me. You may as well have a machine that's going to work for you rather than something that doesn't. So.
Jeffrey, Ultra will be done in June along with our pizza box wedge. Will you guys meet us at the border?
I don't know. I don't know. It'd be the same thing. Like even if we crossed into Alexandria Bay, Jeff, I think the same rules would apply when we come back. Even if we were just in and out, I think we'd have to do like the three-day quarantine at the government hotel in 2 weeks after that. So if the borders are open, I don't think it'd be a big deal. I'm sure that would be an issue, but just whether or not they'll let us do it.
I just found this out the other day because I haven't been near a border or heard anybody shipping stuff, but you can go to the border and there's companies there that will run it across for you. So you each go to the border, yeah. So they would meet you, they would hook on, take it across the border, and drop it off to Jeffrey. That's what I've
Oh.
heard. I have no idea. Maybe somebody else can elaborate on it.
That may be worth looking into, because I haven't we haven't, ever since this whole pandemic. Then we've just shipped everything by truck. We haven't been delivering nothing or anything.
And sometimes it's just easier doing it by truck. I don't know what's involved with these guys at the border, or how, legit or shady they are. So that's where the truck, you put it on a truck driver that you trust and know and use all the time, right? It's almost better that way. Rick, is the 2228 the same machine as the 37D other than the diesel?
For the most part, up until that last one we did, it was the same machine, same pumps and everything. And I still don't know if we're going to go with the 37D the way that we have it configured right now, the way that we have this kind of test mule we have set up, whether we're going to keep doing them like that or not. But in that event, they will be different. But that's still up in the air for that. So.
Buddy Josh Wilner, he is a lobster fisherman in, I want to say, Maine. I think he's in Maine. And I guess the Canadian lobsters are getting into his market. And I think that goes both ways. It comes both ways.
Oh, 100%.
Well, but sorry, can't.
100%. I don't.
He's having a super tough down. I know he's been posting some videos. They're having a super tough time down there with the whales coming in, and whether they can go lobster fishing and stuff. So I get your frustration, Josh.
Oh yeah, for sure. And it's kind of a weird thing, because I think until you get into, well, like I know for us, like, there's a lot of stuff that goes both ways there. And I don't know why it can't be smooth, because I don't think there's a big difference in cost or anything. I don't know how one market would be able to sell a lot lower than the other, or vice versa. I don't understand that. Like, for the most part, it should both markets, the cost should be the same, and it should be able to, ideally, if it were well, you'd be able to ship both ways easily and seamlessly, and everybody kind of take a chunk of it would be ideal.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we're not on the East Coast, so we don't really know what the markets are, or this stuff going on, and I just hope everything turns around for you, Josh. I know you're having a real tough time down there, but
yeah, hopefully it goes well for you.
Anthony, so then grade wood determines the price of the wood, and trees that are cut matters. Need PhD in this. It's not. You just got to keep asking questions, and people giving you good answers. That's what you want. But you want to sell, depending on your area, mostly in the central to east coast. We're selling hardwoods here because that's what's most abundant here. You go west coast, you're selling more of a softwood. They'll be selling tamarack and fir, as well as firewood. Pine will be in that as well. So it's all depending on where you are. I'm not sure where you are, Anthony, but
the biggest thing is, like, just having, like, nice looking wood. Like, when you drop it off, like what a lot of guys will do, like, they have a dump trailer, and if they have a tractor or a skid steer or whatever, instead of hand loading it or trying to keep it clean, they'll literally just go into their pile, scoop up a bunch of wood that's been sitting on the ground. The bottom will be all wet, and they dump in the dump trailer, and half the bucket's full of dirt. And that's where you run into having a poor quality product. Like, even, I know it's extra time, but like I even know guys that'll take the time to stack the wood so it dries really well. That's a big thing if you have dry wood, and then have a clean delivery. Like, have a clean delivery and then a seamless transaction. Make it easy for your customers.
Yeah. Payment options, e-transfer, cash, check, whatever you're doing. It's e-transfers. My boss did a ton of e-transfers. There's nothing changing hands. It's, especially with at the start of the pandemic, everybody didn't want to touch any money. It was.
Oh yeah. And you get into like e-transfers and even being able to take a credit card or something like that. You open up an area that you weren't in before, just because if some people maybe not have the money to buy 2 or 3 cord of wood, it's handy to put up a credit card and pay for it later, right? Like it's that is the reality of it.
Yeah. This is talking about your extra for Savage Firewood, your extra tall 4-way wedge. I'm guessing
Yeah,
that
just
works.
last week we did that.
That works on his machine on the 1222 as well.
Yeah. No worries on the 1222. Yeah.
Anthony actually take off. His son is in the Navy, so had to go take care of him. Hopefully he comes back and he catches our answer on that.
Hopefully.
What is the best species? Oh, this is a loaded question too. What's the best species of tree for making firewood?
That's a loaded one. I don't know if there's a right answer to that. A lot of guys like ash. A lot of guys like maple. A lot of guys like oak. That's a hard one there.
Yeah, it's we sell maple, ash, beech, cherry, oak, hickory. Hickory's good. Hickory, shagbark hickory burns really good. Tough to cut, sucks to hand cut. Like if you're hand bucking, it sucks. But softwoods we stay away. We don't do any softwoods around here. Anything less than like walnut, which we don't get a lot of, but we have sold as firewood. But yeah, it's kind of what your area. A lot of guys want sugar maple. That's what they really like.
Yeah, I myself I like maple in terms of burning and splitting it. It's nice splitting stuff. It's nice burning stuff. It's not messy. The bark will normally stay on it. Maple would probably be my top choice of anything, honestly.
Yeah, and would be on mine. That's my dad always. He wanted maple. He got maple and beech, and he loved it. That's what he always wanted.
Yeah. Beech is really nice too. So it's nice and clean. I have 2 or 3 loads of beech out back, and beech is really nice if you're bringing wood into the house or whatever. You don't lose the bark off it. It's clean. It splits nicely.
Yeah, for sure. Iron and oak. Does the 1222 have an hour meter on them?
No, it does not. No, we don't. I know a lot of guys that have run aftermarket hour meters on them. The only reason we don't put one on from the factory is because it'd be too easy to disconnect it. Then you may see an estimate that has 100 hours on it. Looks like it might have 10,000 hours on it because it actually has 10,000 hours on it, right? So at least if it's an aftermarket piece and people know that it does engage in. And I know in terms of service, like service on your end of it, it'd be really handy to have an hour meter on it. But I'm just not comfortable doing it, and on our end of it, it'd be something that would be easily put on the customer end.
Yeah, and I guess you can get them for like $10. So
yeah, they're very inexpensive to buy one. Yeah.
Larry, Andrew, nice job with the customer service when dealing with Ohio wood burner on the exhaust issue with the Axis. Exhaust too close to the air intake and clog the air filter. I'll leave that up. That was actually a very interesting one that Joe was working on and plugging that air filter.
Yeah, he got it up and going, and thank God Joe picked that up. It's just one of those things that when we're putting it together, you don't really think of it. You don't even pay much attention to it. We just thought we don't want it going towards the operator, right? So that's kind of how that worked out on it. But in a situation like that, we will normally react and get a customer up and going. We don't normally let somebody stay stagnant for too long.
Yeah, and that's the right way to do it as well too.
Oh yeah, like you're like with any piece of equipment, you're always going to run into things. It's the service on the other end of it that really makes the world of difference.
Yeah, for sure. Shane, he was asking about that Kinetics splitter. 20 plus years here doing firewood with his father. Started off with a hydro splitter, kinetic splitter, now processor, growing slowly part-time. 275 cord a year. how can I grow more?
Depends on how you want to, which way you want to approach it, and what model you want to go after. Obviously, a processor is going to put you over the roof, but you're going to have other costs and expenses with that. If you're looking at a splitter, I actually did a video on a hydraulic versus a kinetic, and there is, when you go up into that 1222, there is a drastic increase there. Even going to the Ultra, there was a big increase going to the Ultra. I actually, excuse me, when I first started doing it, I thought the kinetic would be faster than the Ultra, honestly, but it ended up being the Ultra was almost twice as fast as the kinetic, and I didn't expect that. And it all comes down to handling. So that's the big name. You're into a piece of wood that's however big around. If you can put it onto the machine, hit the auto cycle, and walk away, grab another piece, you save all of that time handling the wood. Like with the kinetic, you still have to pull the wood back through. So you're literally sitting there for 4 times the time, 5 times the time, cycling wood back through it. Where if you have something with an auto cycle and a log cradle set up properly, then you can't physically grab wood fast enough for it.
Delwyn, if all the ash dies, I'm moving south because I'll freeze to death. It's crazy. We just locked up some more woodlots, all ash. It's all ash. Like they're gonna look like clear cuts by the time we get all the ash out of it. It's just crazy. It's like ash with some like small elm like that, but it's just flattened. It's sad seeing woodlots are just gone.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I don't know whether they got a replanting deal going on with it, but at that point, you might as well just make the field bigger.
I don't know either, and it's funny you say the elm because I don't know. I don't remember the Dutch elm disease, but apparently they used to pay people so much per stump to cut the elm. Like in our area, I don't know the details on it, but I know they were going through and cutting down all of the elm trees.
That's funny. I've heard. I want to say Lands and Forests, the forester for them. He was telling me a similar story of that back in the day. It was something along those. It was a few years ago. He told me, but something along those lines. They were getting paid to take the ash or elm out.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't know. Do they come resistant? And, our ash will come back, but it's just devastating, especially some of these lower woodlots. It's just all ash, and it's just complete clear cuts. There's no point. We're at the point we might as well put a buncher in and just bunch it all. It's so bad. Jeffrey, they love their because he's got a bigger splitter there. He's got a nice setup there.
Mm-hmm. Jeff's got a really nice setup, and he's got I think that's his second splitter from. He had a 1222 before that, and then bought the STK 24. And he was saying he has an Ultra on order coming in June.
Yeah. What are you doing with the Ultra then, Jeffrey? What's the point of getting the smaller one? Just doing smaller wood or something? You sent it to the wrong person. One thing I did want to ask, are you guys, I should almost send you pictures of this, on the infeed table, or on the infeed, so your live deck goes in and then you have your infeed coming up to the live deck and the log rolls in. There's that steel for the infeed is whatever, 1/4 inch. That lip catches logs. It almost needs to just, I'll have to send you a picture, but if you have a log going in, like especially if it's 25 feet or longer, not every one, maybe once or twice a week it happens, but a log goes to roll in and it's a little bit of an angle, it will hang up on that lip and it will catch right on where it welds in the frame. I should have a picture of it. I was thinking about it.
When it happens, send me a picture because I'd really be curious to see what goes on there, because
it's super simple to fix.
For us to make an adjustment, it wouldn't be a big deal.
It's just something so simple. It's just you got to walk all the way around, right?
Yeah.
In something, we probably could have fixed it with a grinder, just grinding it down. But if we're getting a new machine, you might as well. If it's not fixed, just have it done right with
Oh,
you guys.
we may as well do them right and
Yeah.
do them right for everybody.
Yeah, it's like a minor thing, but it always seems just to be that one back one, how it catches up. But Jeffrey's getting it for bundlewood, and that's what the Ultra's for.
Well,
Pretty neat.
that would make sense.
Yeah.
That would make sense.
He's getting into the pizza oven stuff. Pizza, that's huge business.
Big market right now is pizza wood. It's probably, I would say, every other machine that we're selling, guys are getting into it, and there doesn't seem to be a shortage of it. I know myself, I much prefer a pizza in a wood-fired oven. I'm not much of a pizza guy, but when I do have it, if it's out of a wood-fired oven, it's normally a whole lot better. So,
here's a good question. Scott, what do you think is a maximum safe weight for a log lift on a 22, 28?
honestly, I couldn't tell you. I honestly can't. We kind of touched on this earlier. I would say safe diameter about 40 inches. It will, the lift will pick up whatever you put on it. Like if you can physically roll a piece of wood on the lift, it will pick it up for you. It comes a matter of personal safety when you get over that 3 foot or 40-inch mark. It's more or less, if that falls on you, you're going to be in a world of hurt, sort of thing. So.
This is probably the best question of the night right here. Andrew, just a thought. Will you offer a beer can crusher attachment for your splitters? Really starting to pile up around here.
Isn't that the truth? I'm gonna have to find something. I've often thought about it.
We had a neighbor of ours. He had at his shop. He used his forklift to crush them, like the wheels. He just run over them right flat.
Oh, they would be. That would definitely iron them right out.
There you go. There's the website. If anybody wants any videos for Eastmaid boot splitters on YouTube, because I know Cotton Top 3's there already watching them. And this is an email question I've got the day after our last video ended. Guy asked, I don't have his name. Do you know if you have splitters in every state? He's ordering a splitter in Indiana.
Oh, Indiana, lots of them in Indiana. Lots of them in Indiana. I'll you give me 2 seconds, I'll look this up. We actually have a map. Henry was updating. I hope he still is. But every time that we send a splitter out, we put a pin on a Google map.
That'd be neat to see.
So what we do is we have we might even be able to do it here. Let's see if I can't do it here. Were you able to do the share screen thing?
What do you want? This? No. This? No, that doesn't work. That? No.
Let me try that.
What do you want to do here? Oh, share video file. I don't know how that works.
Easiest with 2 monitors. Oh, maybe not. I might not be able to do it. Let me see if I can find it here. But it's kind of a funny thing to see, because what happens is we have all sorts of wood splitters on the East Coast, all sorts of wood splitters on the West Coast. There is a big bare spot in the middle of it.
I've talked to a few guys in Indiana and their thoughts of, maybe getting into the firewood. And I think it's right, could be a place for them to utilize more wood for them. But the problem is for those guys, they need, their 50-mile radius. They'll have to kiln dry everything, right?
Yeah.
That's where you're going to get into that bigger market, right? You can move more wood.
No, that's exactly it. I think you will see that in the future, that the kilns really start to take off. Just because of that. And then you can you're not sitting on money then either. You know what I mean? Like, well, you guys know yourself. The time you split that much wood, and in the spring, you're sitting on a lot of money for a long time. Where if you have a kiln, you can cycle that money and turn it over a whole lot quicker. So, just in that note, it's almost worthwhile to buy a kiln just for the sake of having the cash flow. Like when you look at it from a hard business perspective.
Yeah, and I've never seen anybody say it was a bad investment that has a kiln.
No, I don't think you ever would. I would think that would be, and then the quality of the product you're delivering is far superior to likely anything else that's in your area.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I see guys lights with a match. You don't need kindling. It just lights with a match. It's dry, right? Oh, what's Jeffrey? You guys going to keep doing the live stream? I know you both are extremely busy. Both true gentlemen. Whoa, you went a little bit far right there, Jeffrey.
Cross the line.
Yeah, gonna have to block you for that one. Yeah, we talked about it, and we figure we'll do every 2 weeks like we're doing now. If it goes 3 weeks, summer vacation, stuff like that, right?
No, I think it's good because we get to, like, both of us get to communicate and engage with people that we wouldn't normally be able to do on this level, and it's just really, really nice to be able to talk to people and hear from them and get their input and feedback.
Oh, for sure, and I really enjoy it. I think we're not getting the same numbers as the first one, but the numbers I've been watching, they're steady, so which is good, keeping everybody's kind of interest around, right?
No, that's exactly it. Like it's essentially just the two of us sitting here drinking beer, talking to one another, honestly, and it's enjoyable for us, and we get to hear from everybody else too, and have a good conversation on something we like doing. So.
Yep, and you get new people coming around. It keeps them up to date of what's going on, and I think it's good. And
I really enjoy it.
There's friends, you know a lot of these guys in here as well as myself, right? So it's, friends that are watching it as well. That's great. Yeah. It's going to keep on going for now. That's for sure. No reason to stop it. That channel, my buddy Chris saw the map, told me about it. It was awesome. I'll have to try.
It is. No. It's just under my own Google profile. Like you can make like your own map in Google.
Yeah.
And like we just drop a pin. Like every different color is the different machines or whatever. And it is really cool to see because like the West Coast, California, Oregon, Washington. You can see like all along that strip where there's a lot of machines, and then you have the mountains and the prairies where there's not a whole lot, and then right about Minnesota, I would say you could draw a line right down Minnesota, and it's just plastered the whole way across. It's pretty neat to see it.
Yeah, it makes sense. Like you get into the Corn Belt and stuff.
Yeah.
Now Montana, there's really nothing up in Montana. Dad Sharon, what's good kiln drive? Kiln direct? That's the biggest thing I hear all the time.
I would think that would be the biggest name right now. Would be Kiln Direct. I don't know if there's anybody else other than Kiln Direct that's building a firewood specific kiln. I think the firewood kilns typically run a little bit hotter than a lumber kiln, just to dry the wood quicker. I'd imagine with lumber it would have to dry slower to keep from warping. Is that right, Kev?
Yeah, exactly. You want to run a lower temperature. You want them more stable. Videos by Al will probably pipe in on this. Hopefully I get it right. He will correct me. I know that. He's a smart guy and he dries lumber all the time. Firewood, you can basically crank the heat to. You don't have to worry about warping it, right? The hotter, basically the hotter the better. And cycling and air movement in there. Lumber, you want more of a stable air and air moving across all the lumber at the same time. I want to say 180 for lumber. I want to say, but I could be wrong on that. Al will pipe up. I know he's here. There he is. Crack lumber at a higher temperature. Crack warp.
Yeah, that would make sense. I would think you would damage it in some way. Where with firewood, it really doesn't matter. You know.
And you can, crank the higher the temperature. I forget it's 300 and something degrees, and that's enough for wood. You'll actually ignite it, but I don't think you ever get it that hot. We're actually looking at maybe making our own kiln, trying it out and seeing how well it works.
I should sneak up and I have a buddy of mine a little bit north of us here that he actually made a kiln. I want to say it's a Quonset hut or something. It might even be just like a tarp shed even. And he just has a radiator running off his outdoor furnace.
Yeah.
He says it works great. He says he's like 2 days and 6 cords dry.
Yeah, we're close to a similar, the similar idea. We got a great big rad for it, so we have no problem with the rad. We just need to get set up. Like, we need power. We have no power in our yard right now, so.
Oh, yeah.
That's just got to be dug in. That's just time. We're so busy, we haven't got to it. Savage Firewood thinks there should be an Easton-made kiln.
Oh, you never know. If I can find somebody with the expertise, it may go that way. I know this guy isn't the guy with the expertise, so at least not in that field.
Yeah. Do you know if most guys who do mobile splitting do it by the job or by the hour?
That's another one of those ones where it's a matter of opinion. Everybody's different on that.
Yeah,
there's not really a rule of thumb for it.
Guys can do it either way. It's, you got big wood on there. You do it by the job or do it by the cord. You're going to go through it quicker, so you're less time on the job for the same amount of wood, right? You got smaller wood, do it by the hour because you're going to be sitting there longer, right? So it's kind of every job is different, and you got to look at every job.
Yeah.
James, bet the map shows a lot of splitters in the north where the winters are cold. And that's right. And where all the wood is too, right? That's where you're seeing.
Yeah, and you would be surprised. Like, we have quite a few of them in the southern states where you wouldn't think you'd have a lot of splitters, but there's quite a few of them through there.
Yeah, because you guys got a couple in Florida, don't you? Like, that's
crazy. I've got some in Florida, got some in Louisiana, Alabama, Texas.
Wow.
Like play a place. Well, the a lot of cooking wood, right? Like for barbecues and campers and stuff like that. Like there's a lot of different avenues for selling firewood if you want to explore it.
Yeah. Joseph thinks.
Actually, of all places, I sent one to Las Vegas. Like a guy in Las Vegas got one last week. Middle of the desert.
They got a truck in all their wood.
I don't know what the fella does with it, but he was running the other day and he bought a 3070 and he just thought it was awesome. So
wow, that's got to be hot down there splitting wood too. Wow, down in the desert.
I would think so, yeah.
I bent the pullback arm on the box wedge. What's the best way to straighten it out?
Depending on how you've done it, the best way to do it is to pull the wedge out. Like if you bent it out, if you pull the wedge out and put it on the back brace, you can bend it back the other way. And it should only take you a couple seconds to do it. What'll happen with them is if a guy's not paying attention, the pieces will slip out to the side if you're onto a really big piece. If it gets off to one side and keeps forcing out that way, it'll get under the box wedge and pull it out or pull back arm out.
Yeah. James figured out what he's splitting down there. Cacti.
It might be. I don't know. Making tequila.
Generally, does your truck driver go out west one week and stay in the east coast the next?
Yeah, for the most part, that's what Drew will do. He'll run a load west and run a load east. Is normally how he will do it.
Joseph, I'm building a milk with 6 shipping containers. Burn my cut-off scraps to feed the heat. I guess in a kiln. That's supposed to be kiln. Oh, yeah, he corrected himself.
Kill him.
Yeah. Wow, that's going to be a big container. 6 shipping containers. That's going to be a decent size. Wow.
Yeah, that is really big. Like I've utilized shipping containers in different ways, and they can be a good way to do it.
This is how we'll do it: refrigerated semi, either a insulated sea can, basically, is what we'll do.
Yeah,
that's our idea. Buzz, honey.
Yeah, how you doing?
What do we got? Oh, TJ must have been doing a video out there. That's what he was doing. But I think we're all caught up on questions here. 2 hours and 10 minutes. I think that's pretty good for tonight, eh?
I think so too. I think we had a pretty good run at her.
Oh, I think
it's not midnight yet, so
no, which is good. My wife's probably sleeping on the couch, but way past her bedtime. You're all fresh because you had the nap.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I definitely needed her, else I'd be sleeping on that keyboard.
We'll see. Do you know how you're doing the engine cover on the on those processors? Will they doors or will they flip up like the 67 horses?
Doors.
Yeah. I find the doors way better, especially when you're checking the oils, like checking the engine every day, checking the oil on that. It's way easier than that flip up one. The doors are so much simpler.
Yeah, no, we're going to have doors on them. And it's going to be, I don't know how Gage has got the model there for, but we're actually buying something different we're doing. We're buying the whole power unit from Kubota with the hood and everything attached with lifting lugs. We literally just pick the engine up, set it on the machine. Nice. We're not fabbing anything in-house for that end of it. It should be. So hopefully they have it all organized, especially with DEF and stuff like that. We just want to make sure that everything is exactly the same one to the next sort of thing. So
yeah, that's good. That makes me happy too. Just more convenient when you're going there every day checking the oil. It's easy access and people will want to do it more, right?
Yeah.
Right. Well, Jeffrey, thank you for showing up. It's because you guys showing up, asking questions. That's why we keep doing it. So we appreciate it.
Yeah, we certainly do.
But anyway, I think we should end this and at a good note. No need to go 3 hours if we're doing twice a week, I think we're done good.
Yeah, we'll see you guys in a couple of weeks and appreciate all the support. That's fantastic.
Yeah, and like I said, Andrew Easton at Easton Made Wood Splitters. You can check them out, YouTube. And the Easton Made website, if you're looking at machines, all the prices are on there. So you go check that out and they can help you out. Skidder Kev, YouTube, Instagram. Check me out as well. And if you're interested in that processor, email me, skidderkev@gmail.com. All right, guys, have a good night. Everybody enjoy yours.